So I think these photos really help to illustrate what a typical, life in kindergarten is like. But to talk a little bit more specifically, your kindergartner will have the chance to participate in specials, we call them, which is really just referring to art, music, PE, and library. So you can see they'll have these weekly enrichment opportunities with other staff members who teach these content areas. So there you can see the breakdown of how often your child will go to the gym, music room, art room, and the library. And additionally, we're so excited that our kindergartners will be eating lunch at school because it is a full day. So our lunch is the later lunch for kindergarten, which is 11:45. Side note, most of the kinder teachers will allow a snack in the morning because it does tend to be a long academic morning, with lunch not being till 11:45. Our lunch block is 45 minutes, which allows 20 minutes for eating and 20 minutes for a recess break. It does sound like ample time, but in a class of 20 kindergartners, that time can fly. So some of our families have shared some success with, practicing with your young student, maybe just eating, having them maybe open a lunchbox and practice opening the lunch containers so they can learn to be really independent as well as consume their appropriate lunch in 20 minutes and still get that outside time. Another thing to note is we don't have refrigerators or microwaves available for students. So our students bring their lunch in a lunchbox or a lunch bag. And, many parents might send a cold drink or an ice pack to keep things cold. We also wanted to talk about PBIS. Your child will soon be talking about this. They might not call it PBIS, but there's so many fun things associated with it. But we wanted the grown-ups to hear what it stands for and what it's all about. So PBIS stands for Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. And this is really just our universal expectations that we teach all of our students. We know that students have their own rules at home, and we want to be really explicit about what we expect here at Dirksen, which is being respectful, responsible, and safe. We call them the 3 Bs. So we'll take some time throughout the school year to explicitly teach and reteach your child these expectations, and we're there to support them with reminders as they move along in kindergarten. So, if students need reminders, we might implement some special support, and that might look like maybe a check-in and check-out mentor, a special adult that your child can talk to about how their day is going, or maybe even a point sheet to help help them take some ownership of their behavior. And we have some really fun incentives planned for PBIS. The students will definitely be talking about these. We have Dynamite Dolphin tickets. When we see students modeling and following our expectations, we give them these little tickets that they can use in turn at the school. They can enter them in raffles and use them at the school store. Classrooms can also earn golden tickets if their whole class is doing a great job with something to earn class celebrations. And we're excited because we're not 100% sure how they'll look, but one Dirksen tradition is our monthly whole school meeting, or the students might call them assemblies. We've been doing them virtually this year. We're not sure how they'll look next year, but it's definitely a highlight. We have a theme and we celebrate all of our classroom and student accomplishments each month, as well as set a goal moving forward. Shifting gears a little bit, our nurse, Mrs. Reed, has some important information to share. You might know these pieces already, but we do have a full-time nurse on site at Dirksen, and she's available to take your call or answer any questions you might have by email. Some things she wanted us to mention is if your child has a medical condition, even if it's minor, I think it would be noteworthy, and our nurse would appreciate you shooting her an email or giving her a call to discuss it. She really does want to know each child and their individual needs, so she'd be happy to talk through anything with you. Medications in school are permitted, but we do need special documentation for this. And this actually goes for over-the-counter medication, maybe Advil for something. A doctor's note and specific documentation is required, so you can reach out to our nurse if you ever need this. And that would be true for prescription medication as well. There are 3 really important forms that are due when your child starts kindergarten. So we wanted to mention them now, give you some time to make those appointments over the summer. It's basically a certificate of child health exam. That's a fancy way of saying a physical. Those are due by the start of kindergarten. Most pediatricians' offices have the forms, but we've sent them out by email, and you can definitely reach out to Miss Reed if you need another one. In addition, the state of Illinois does require a vision exam from an optometrist or ophthalmologist. So we would recommend reaching out now so you can get in over the summer. And the dental exam is required. So it would be a great idea to reach out to your dentist and make sure that you get that scheduled before kindergarten begins. And some things to think about, you know, your children will be with us all day. So it might be a great idea to have a change of clothes in your child's backpack in the event of, you know, going down a wet slide. It happens a lot, or an accidental spill at lunchtime. In addition, if your child is in daycare or preschool, you probably are aware of this, but have a backup plan. Figure out what will you do if your child wakes up sick. We know this happens with very little warning sometimes. So who will be staying home or who will take care of the child? In addition, and if the unfortunate circumstance happens where your child gets sick at school, who could pick them up and come pretty quickly? This year, more than ever, our families have been incredible with keeping their children home if they're sick. That has always been the case, but it's been more important than ever. So please, when in doubt, keep your child home. You can reach out to our office and we'd be happy to talk through the specifics of that. Do keep emergency numbers on file with us updated. We know sometimes people's numbers change, and we just really want those emergency numbers on file truly in the event of an emergency. We know our 5-year-olds are learning to be very independent, but some things to think about over the summer are teaching your child how to blow their own nose, cough in their arm, and wash hands properly, of course. And our nurse is wonderful, and she will happily take your call or email at any time.
So this school year, our district has followed the safety protocols that we received from the Illinois State Board of Education, and then also our state health organizations around the COVID-19 safety mitigation strategies. So our students and adults in the building have worn masks this year. It's been remarkable to see how well the kids have adjusted to wearing masks. I think there was a lot of nervousness around that at the beginning of the year, but the kids really have done a beautiful job with that. So, of course, it seems like things are changing, not even weekly anymore, but daily in terms of what school is going to maybe look like in the fall. So we're just all going to be flexible and wait and see what guidelines the state are giving us come fall. If wearing a mask is part of it, one suggestion might be to have your child wear a mask from time to time, just to build up their getting used to wearing a mask. If we have to do that in the fall, at this point, we're not sure what the requirements are going to be.
Speaking of going back in the fall, before school starts, we have what's called kindergarten screening. So right now, this is scheduled for the week of August 16th, but that can change. So we will absolutely keep you updated with that. So what kindergarten screening is for the incoming kindergartners. They're going to have a scheduled time to come into Dirksen to assess their kindergarten readiness skills. So we focus on things like letter recognition, letter sounds, number recognition, knowledge of like print and all different things like that. So it just provides the kindergarten teachers with data so that we're able to plan the beginning of the year and instruction based on what your child needs. I know we talked in the beginning about all different groups that your child can be working in. So this data is kind of where it starts us off. And then as we work with your child more and more, we're able to gather more data. This allows for your child's teacher and other team members to get to know your child. So again, it's a one-on-one experience with the kindergarten teacher, usually who is going to be your child's teacher, but we're all in a room working together. So your child is able to interact and have conversation with the kindergarten team and other support staff. This allows for your child to visit Dirksen before school actually starts. So I know we talked about there's a lot of siblings here, but for a 5-year-old coming into Dirksen for the first time, that can be extremely overwhelming. So it's really exciting to see them walk into the big school and follow in their siblings' footsteps or be the first one to attend Dirksen. So it's a chance for them to see where they're going to be starting their education. And as I stated in the beginning, there will be more information to follow about when this will exactly be. But again, that's for the week of August 16th as of right now.
All right, so Dirksen School arrival and dismissal. Our doors open each morning, Monday through Friday at 8:25. So that's when students can start to come in. The doors close at 8:35, between 8:35 and 8:40. That final bell rings at 8:40 when school does begin. One thing to note is that Wednesday is early dismissal. So we end school at 2:30 on Wednesdays. Every other day is 3 o'clock. And if you have any changes in your child's transportation, let's say they usually take the bus, but you would like to pick them up one day, you can email your child's teacher, send a note, or call the main office, and they will let us know those changes.
Okay, this is the exciting stuff. So our 1st through 6th graders start school on August 16th, and our kindergartners start on the 23rd. So we have that week before school starts where our kindergartners can go through their kindergarten screening. And so on August 23rd, all of our kindergartners are going to line up on the basketball court that's outside next to the tennis courts. Parents and grown-ups are welcome to join our kindergartners to take some pictures. Each of the teachers will have their name on a sign. So at that point, you'll receive an email that lets you know what teacher your child will have. So you can find your child's teacher and line up. The kindergartners always enter and exit the building at door 1. That's our main door. If your child is a busser, we would encourage you to have your child ride the bus that first day so they get used to it. We do have parents that then put their child on the bus, come to school so they can see them get off the bus and take pictures. Certainly you're welcome to do that if you would like to. So we do have our parents say goodbye to our youngest dolphins at the front door, and then we lead them inside. Another reminder, lunch and snack on that first day of school. So they are at school for a full day. So if you can pack a lunch and a healthy snack, that would be great.
And as many of the teachers and staff have mentioned, your child, of course, one of us will be their teacher, but they will also see many teachers as well throughout the day. Right now, I'm going to introduce the English language resource teachers. So those are for children who speak another language within the home. And those 3 teachers are Miss Neiman, Mr. Glenn, and Miss Watts. And then we also have Mrs. Lopez is coach. So she also works with small groups, all grade levels, to help those kids and support those kids who need a little bit of literacy enrichment and help and support in literacy. And Amarada is our intervention coach. So she is also an extra support staff who helps those small groups that need a little extra support as well. And then we have our Miss Morales is our special services teacher, and she helps those children who do have an IEP or an individualized education plan. And then Miss Safar is our speech and language pathologist for those students who do have speech and language IEPs and issues. Then other important team members are Mrs. Jones. She is our school psychologist. And then we also have a new social worker this year, and her name is Miss Barrett.